Hi guys, it's me, Mr. Daly. As promised, I have here some of the work you have for another class that I'm going to help you get started with. These are the Chapter 8 vocab boxes for social studies that can be found either in the paper packet you brought home or on your Google Classroom. I'm going to be doing it on paper. You can see I just added a little extra space and I printed it out. I also have here the U.S. history book that a few years ago, this is what the students used to do all of their vocab boxes from. I know that you guys probably prefer at this point in time just to go to your favorite search engine, type in these words and copy and paste just the first thing that comes up that you kind of understand. But here's what we're going to do. I've already checked with Mr. Myatt that if I go to this book and I look it up and we write it in here, that you guys are allowed to use those word for word. So I would hope that that would be even easier than copy and pasting something you don't understand. I hope just by me talking about it, you typing in what you see me write and what you hear me say, that you guys can better understand it. So let's go ahead and get started. Our first word here is tariff. I go all the way to the back of the history book to the glossary. Tariff. A tax placed on goods entering a country from another country. Well, I could either write that word for word, or I could maybe shorten these words up, and I know that goods from another country, that word is called imports. So I'm going to go to my vocab boxes, a tax on imports. That kind of looks like an N, but I assure you it's an R. A tax on imports, okay? You guys can use the internet to find a picture for that. Here's the question. Which of the following individuals had the greatest impact on the economic policy of George Washington's administration? Well, George Washington, we discussed not being part of any political party, was kind of more aligned with the Federalists. And whose name is a Federalist here? Well, that's Alexander Hamilton, of course. Let's move on to the second word, faction. I go to my glossary, gotta go to F. Ooh, faction, there it is. An organized political group. No way to shorten that up or make it easier to understand for a 7th grader, because that's about as concise as it gets. An organized political group. Make sure you find your own picture. Here's the question. The first two political parties that emerged in the 1790s were the Federalists and Whigs, Federalists and Republicans, Republicans and Democrats, Whigs and Democrats. Well, typically speaking, when you get a question and there's words in the answer you've never heard of, it's probably not the answer. And I'm thinking, unless you guys really like history, you haven't heard of the Whig Party yet, although you will. So you have the Federalists and the Republicans and the Democrats. You gentlemen will remember from class, we discussed these ones a lot. This answer is kind of a distracting answer because these are our current political parties. But remember, we're talking 1790s. So goodbye, Republicans and Democrats. Okay. Next. Unconstitutional. I can use word parts. I might not even have to look this one up. I know that the prefix un means not. And I know that constitutional means allowed in the Constitution. So my guess, before I even look it up, is unconstitutional will be something not allowed in the Constitution. Oh my goodness. The excitement! Will I be right? I used my word parts. Unconstitutional. Contrary to what is permitted by the U.S. Constitution. Ooh, I was right. Contrary meaning not. And permitted meaning allowed. I almost have word for word the exact same thing over here. So I'm going to ignore their definition. I'm going to go with mine because I know I can remember that because I came up with it by myself. Not allowed under the U.S. Constitution. All right, now let me just check this question here. Federalists were supported by all of the following except. All of the following except. Except means not. So I know that all of the Federalists liked all of these. They disliked one of these answers. Let me see. Merchants. Did merchants, were they Federalists? Let's see here. Workers who depend on manufacturing and trade for their jobs. Property owners and farmers. Well, I know Federalists, they were kind of like the wealthier group, the smarter group, the better connected group. So I know that merchants were probably pretty wealthy. I know that's not going to be my answer. Workers who depended on manufacturing and trade. Well, I remember that the Federalists, they really liked Great Britain because they were our primary trading partner. So I would imagine that people who like manufacturing and trade probably supported the Federalists. Now we have property owners and farmers. Let me think here. Who would be richer and want to be more elite? I think the property owners would probably be the wealthier of those two. And poor farmers, they probably supported the Democratic Republicans, so they would not be with the Federalists. And remember, you still have to find your own picture. All right, let's check precedent. Let's see, what is a precedent? I'm going to go right over here. Precedent. Sounds like president, but it's not. Precedent. P-R-E. Precedent, an example to be followed by others in the future. All right, I like that definition. I might go word for word with that one. An example to be followed by others in the future. I can tell without even reading this multiple choice question, it's probably going to have to do with George Washington because he set so many precedents. Let's take a look here. One major reason historians consider George Washington called it a great president is that he, A, created many important practices still used by the government. Well, geez, that's like our definition here. Or, B, made the United States a world power. C, ended conflicts among the Native American Indians. Or D, extended voting rights to most free males throughout the U.S. Well, even if I didn't know this answer, I could tell just because it's going with my definition that A is probably correct. Mr. Daly knows because he knows more about history than you guys probably do. The United States wouldn't be a world power for another 100 years. We are still here in 2020, have conflict with Native American Indian tribes, extended voting rights to most free males throughout the U.S. That wouldn't happen for another 50 years at that point in history. So A is our answer. So I already did with you guys 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, almost half. So all you guys have to do, watch that video, record your answers either on your paper copy or on your digital copy, and then meet with me in our Google chat so we can do a few more. Thanks. Bye.